This is the California mock trial fact situation of 2018 to 2019, read to you by Mr. Sindel of Levinine High School. Reagan, Marlowe, Cameron, and Sawyer work at a restaurant in East Flamingo called Hennessy's, owned by Sam Kolostian. On New Year's Eve last year, Reagan accidentally broke Sam's Baker's Pride oven, which cost over $34,000. Reagan had put aluminum foil on the bottom of the oven so Reagan wouldn't have to clean it after making a quick snack after closing, but the foil melted, causing serious damage to the oven and creating a fire hazard. Sawyer was there when it happened, but being Reagan's best friend, Sawyer helped Reagan cover it up and promised never to say anything. On June 1st, Sawyer posted a selfie on NowPic, a popular photo-sharing social media app, and the photo went viral. By the end of the week, Sawyer had gained over 150,000 new followers, and Sawyer received an offer for a brand deal with a local company. A few days later, on June 11th, Sawyer dropped Reagan as a friend. Sawyer said, "I'm sorry, I just need to focus on developing my brand, and I just don't see you as part of it." By the end of the week, Sawyer had over 300,000 followers and 4 brand deals, and Sawyer talked about the deals incessantly at Hennessy's while working. During this time, Reagan befriended Marlowe and Cameron. 1 month after Sawyer's swift rise to becoming a social media influencer, on July 2nd, Sawyer talked to the other workers about how much effort it takes to be an influencer. "On the bright side," Sawyer said, "you should see the way people talk to me now and the amazing messages I get from hot people all the time." After hearing this, Reagan suggested to Marlowe and Cameron that they create a fake social media account and catfish Sawyer, or use the fake account to flirt with Sawyer and make Sawyer think that Sawyer and the fake account were in a relationship. Marlowe and Cameron readily agreed. That day, Reagan, Marlowe, and Cameron created a Blab social media account and a NowPic account under the name Hayden Carlton, using stock photos they found on the internet. They purchased followers and added Sawyer as a friend on both accounts, and sent Sawyer a message saying that Hayden is 24, lives in the next town over, and thinks Sawyer is the most attractive person Hayden has ever seen. Sawyer responded positively, and Sawyer and Hayden proceeded to enter into an online relationship. Sawyer bragged about Sawyer's new significant other, Hayden, to all the coworkers. Reagan, Marlowe, and Cameron were pleased with the success of their catfishing, in which all 3 actively participated. On July 21st, a few weeks after the catfishing began, Reagan, Marlowe, and Cameron decided to use the fake account to invite Sawyer on a date at a fancy restaurant. After letting Sawyer sit at the table for 30 minutes without responding, they secretly took a picture of Sawyer alone at the table, looking sad. They posted the photo on the Hayden account, tagging Sawyer with the caption, "As if anyone would be interested in Sawyer. You are not as hot as you think you are, and no real person would want to waste their time on a wannabe influencer like you. Too bad you have no friends to wipe your tears. #karma." Sawyer saw the post and realized that Sawyer had been catfished, and from that point on, Sawyer stopped talking about Hayden. After Sawyer did not respond to the restaurant photo, Reagan, Marlowe, and Cameron continued taunting Sawyer using the Hayden account. Over the next 2 weeks, the Hayden account posted relentlessly about Sawyer, including photos where Sawyer looks terrible and spreading rumors about what Sawyer is doing and who Sawyer is with. Sawyer still did not know who was running the Hayden account. Finally, on August 13th, the Hayden account posted another bad photo of Sawyer with the caption, "Did you know birds hate Sawyer too? One literally pooped right on Sawyer one time. I wonder if we could find that bird and have it do a repeat performance." Sawyer saw the caption and realized that Reagan was behind the Hayden account. Reagan had been the only person with Sawyer when the bird incident happened years before, and Sawyer had never told anyone else about the incident. The next day, Sawyer went to work and told Sam, the owner, that Reagan was the one who broke the Baker's Pride oven, and that Sawyer just found out and couldn't believe Reagan had been hiding it. When Reagan showed up for work, Sam fired Reagan. When Reagan asked why, Sam said, "You'll be hearing from my lawyer about the $34,000 you owe me for that oven." Sam told Reagan to get out. Reagan left the restaurant. That afternoon, Sawyer posted a picture of Sawyer smirking with the caption, "TFW, you win emojis. #too bad, so sad." Using the Hayden account, Reagan commented on Sawyer's post, "You deserve to die. I'm going to get you for this. You just wait. I hate you. When you're dead, no one will even miss you, you monstrous slime of a person. You think you can stick me with a $34,000 lawsuit and get away with it? Watch your back, Sawyer. I'm coming for you." Sawyer responded, "Lol, as if. You're done now. Bye." That night, someone sent a text-a-tip to the police department telling the police that there was a hostage situation at Sawyer's house. The police immediately dispatched a Special Weapons and Tactics, SWAT, team to the house where Sawyer lived. As the SWAT team entered the house with firearms drawn, Sawyer became frightened and slipped down the staircase, breaking Sawyer's femur. In reality, there was no need for a SWAT team. Sawyer had been swatted, meaning someone had falsely reported the hostage situation in order to send police to Sawyer's home. East Flamingo's local police officer, Keegan Lopez, was one of the officers on scene during the swatting and spoke to Sawyer in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Sawyer told Officer Lopez that Reagan Klein was the culprit behind the swatting. Officer Lopez asked why Sawyer thought so. Sawyer replied by describing the catfishing and Sawyer's own conclusion that Reagan was behind it. Sawyer also described how Sawyer revealed that Reagan had broken the oven at Hennessy's, which resulted in Reagan's firing. Sawyer then showed Officer Lopez the Hayden account and the comment left on Sawyer's photo from earlier that afternoon. Sawyer told Officer Lopez that Sawyer was frightened of Reagan. After hearing what Sawyer said, Officer Lopez got Reagan's address and drove over to Reagan's apartment. When Officer Lopez got to the apartment, Reagan voluntarily let the officer inside. Officer Lopez asked Reagan if Reagan was behind the Hayden account and if Reagan was the person who posted the comment on Sawyer's picture that afternoon. Reagan admitted to participating in the Hayden account and to posting the comment. Officer Lopez asked Reagan if Reagan knew anything about the swatting incident. Reagan denied knowing anything about it. Officer Lopez noticed a flip phone plugged into the wall and asked if it belonged to Reagan. Reagan told Officer Lopez that it belonged to Cameron, and Officer Lopez asked Cameron if Officer Lopez could look at it. Cameron unplugged the phone, opened it, and handed it to Officer Lopez. Officer Lopez looked down at the screen to see a 911 text-a-tip message sent at 9:08 p.m. That was identical to the message the department had received earlier that night about the hostage situation. Officer Lopez asked Cameron if Officer Lopez could retain the phone for evidence. Cameron said yes. Officer Lopez took statements from Cameron, Reagan, and Marlowe about what they were doing earlier that night around 9:08 p.m. and what the relationship was with Sawyer. After the interviews, Officer Lopez had probable cause to arrest Reagan for making a criminal threat against Sawyer. Officer Lopez brought the phone to the police department to examine it. Forensic analysis showed the false text-a-tip about Sawyer had come from the phone. Additionally, Officer Lopez had a linguistics expert conduct a linguistic analysis of the text-a-tip message compared to writing samples from Cameron and Reagan that the department had gathered from the individual social media accounts. The expert opined that between the two, the tip was probably written by Reagan. Therefore, Officer Lopez added another count, making a false emergency report to Reagan's charges. That concludes the reading of the mock trial fact situation of 2018 to 2019. Bye!